Hey, welcome back to API Monetization 101. I'm Martin from Zooplo, and in this video, I'm going to walk through using AI to define an API pricing strategy that can then be implemented using Zooplo's new API monetization service. So I'm in Claude. I don't have to be. I could be using any other service, but Claude is my agent of choice in this case. And I've already copied the prompt that you can find in the blog post that is linked in the description below. Along with all of the other videos in this series, by the way, I'll also put a card up here for those, but they're also going to be linked in the description as well. So if you want to understand more about the elements of pricing, then you can do that via those videos. But let's get a pricing strategy going and use AI to do it. So the prompt, I'll quickly walk through it. Basically defines some questions that you need the agent to ask and gather some information about what it is that you're actually building, and then it will go ahead and make recommendations based on all of its knowledge, and it does know a lot about pricing strategy. It'll then decide what it is that you should do in terms of your pricing strategy for the API that you have defined. And it's basically setting it out in specific ways that I know will translate nicely over to using Zooplo's API monetization service. So let's go ahead and run this and we'll walk through it. So first of all, it's going to ask me a selection of questions. So first of all, it's going to ask me, what does my API do? And I've created a fake one here that it's called Company IQ, and it's like a company data enrichment service. So you give it a domain name and you get a bunch of additional information about that company. So very request based. So it is an API for looking up company data based on their domain name. So that's question one done. Question two, it's going to ask me what it is that I actually want to meter, and it also has some examples here as well. So this is kind of specific for the one that I have here, the kind of business that I'm running. So yes, API requests in this case is fine. And who are the customers? Is it developers, startups, enterprises, or a mixture of all of those? And is there a particular use case that dominates? There isn't a use case that I can think of that necessarily dominates, and I reckon that this is something that can be used by a lot of people. So I'm going to say developers, startups, and enterprise. Everybody, the whole gamut. And what do I know about my costs? So this is an important one because you don't want to undercharge for what it is that you actually get paid per request. So if you've got a base cost that you know about, this is a good time to try to work those in here. And obviously you can change this in the future. So if you've only got a rough idea, that's fine. I'm going to say at least something, right? So in order to get this data back, let's say it costs me 5 cents to run, and each one of those then will mean that I make more money off the requests here than it actually costs me to do it. Are there competitors, and do I know their pricing? There are competitors, so let's say sure, Apollo is a great comparison. Okay, so one of the goals that I have is the final question. Am I optimizing for adoption, revenue, a balance of both? Do I want a free tier? And any strong feelings about annual or monthly billing, or offering both? So let's go for maximum adoption and maximum revenue, of course. I do want a free tier. And I want both monthly and annual billing. Okay, so I've answered those initial 6 questions, and now it's going to go ahead and put together my pricing strategy. It's going to come out with some specifically defined outputs that are a part of the prompt as well. So that includes things like, what the plan should be named, who the target audience is, what's the pricing model that best suits it, what kind of included usage, what kind of overage is, if there's free trials and stuff, how long those should be, and any additional features that might be good to include on any of those rate cards as well. Okay, now it's finished thinking about it. We've got our final pricing strategy from that first run. So it's started off with the comparison table, so we can see that effectively this is what it says we should do for the particular API that we have told it about. So we're going to have a free starter, growth, and enterprise tier. starting from free, of course, and moving up to $499 per month. There's annual and monthly pricing included in there. We're going to have 100 requests on free and up to 500,000 requests on enterprise. And we're going to have hard limits on free, of course, and we're going to have soft limits, including overages on all of the other plans. And the overages, as is kind of common, get cheaper the more requests you do. And there's also suggestions in here about the rate limiting that should be included as well. And this is something that you can also do, is that certain plans have a higher request per minute, which is kind of common as well. That's what people are paying for, a higher level of throughput. Again, suggestions here about how many API keys should be available, whether we're going to do response caching, bulk lookups, additional analytics, support, SLAs, and of course free trials. So there's loads of additional information in here about stuff that you may not have even considered, beyond this, like, I want to charge this much per month and maybe this much in overages. But a lot of these other additional non-metered things, like analytics and support and SLAs, are things that do get included in more expensive plans and don't typically get included in cheaper plans. And figuring out how you're actually going to price those on rate cards and present that to people on your developer portal or wherever else you're presenting your pricing is kind of an important thing to have considered, as well as, the length of your free trials or whether they exist at all. So as you can see, it then breaks down all of the reasoning based on what it knows about why all of this stuff has been suggested. Of course, you can then take the output that you get from this and start to translate it through into meters, rate cards, plans, and phases that can be easily translated through to your actual implementation in JSON form using the Zooplo monetization APIs, which are now available in private beta. If you want to register to check that out, then you can do so by checking out the blog post in the description of this video. And of course, thank you very much for joining me for this series this week of API Monetization 101. Parts 1 and 2 are also available on the channel, and I'll see you again soon.